Hey, good morning, Schlog fans. It is a beautiful Friday morning here in Western Colorado. We are heading to the shop. It is going to be a good day. I'm going to be putting a top in a 350 XCF this morning, and it's going to be good. Should go smoothly. Also be rebuilding the rear shock on that. Just a service rebuild, so new seal, oil, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's going to be a great day, guys. Let's get on with the daily Schlog. All right, guys, we're getting to work. Zach is working on this 250X, which was supposed to be easy service work. Now he's mad at me, more mad than normal, which is not good. But because I mean, there's a level of mad, and then like now it's over the top. But the linkage bearings are supposed to be greased. They all fell out in pieces. Even each individual needle came out in pieces. So that was awesome. And then the pin holding the brake pads into the front brake caliper was super duper seized. So I've been dodging wrenches all morning. It's been not good. But and I'm working on this thing, this Yamaha, I think it's a Raider is what it's called, I think. Anyway, so you know, every now and then we gotta work on a street bike, and I do like Yamaha, so it's cool. It is fast. It's kind of weird looking. It's not my favorite looking bike, but my favorite thing that happened during this is that Zach and I were talking about it, and he asked if this was the guy's name. So that was awesome. I think that's a good thing that he doesn't know much about custom seats. That's a good thing. But yeah, we're gonna change the oil on this thing. Then I'm gonna get the top end done on the 350. I forgot I promised this to this guy. It's just a quick oil change and out of here real fast. Then we'll get back to taking the KTM apart. All right, guys, got the 350 apart. Part of when you're doing a motor of any kind, whether it just be for maintenance, which is all we're doing in this case, or if you got something that blew up and you're trying to figure out what happened and put it back together, a really important part of this job is to inspect everything after it's apart, and like all the little things, so that you don't have a problem later that crops up maybe faster than it should. So on a 4-stroke, one really good thing to look at is this bearing in here. I know it doesn't look like a bearing. It's technically, I guess it would be called a bushing, but this brass or copper, I'm not sure exactly what metal it is, probably copper, is, I still call it a bearing, but anyway, it's the top of the rod bearing. You want to really look at that, make sure it's all good. You want to pull up and down on the connecting rod, make sure there's no play. You know, take a good look down in there, make sure everything looks shiny like it should. Then you're going to come over here, you're going to take a look at the cylinder. This one looks great. 1 second, someone just walked in. So Foxy Bibs is here, the one and only.
Subscribe.
Yeah, see if he says it. Hold on.
What?
If the meanest guy, what does the meanest guy say about subscribing to the channel?
I don't care.
Yeah, see, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's because he's just mean, nasty Zach Sheets, angry. Yeah, so anyway, guys, we're putting the 350 back together. Like I was saying earlier, part of doing this is inspecting things really closely and looking deeply into it, which actually Foxy Bibs just had an experience with on his 250, excuse me, KTM 2-stroke. In looking at his cylinder very closely to do just a normal top end, we found some scratches in it. So being Foxy Bibs, he just got a whole new cylinder because that's how he rolls. Yeah, what people from New Zealand do. But so this one looks awesome. Super stoked. Gonna slide this thing on. I'll put a card right up here, guys, if you want to watch a in-depth 4-stroke top end, because I've done a bunch of these on here. But yeah, gonna slide this thing together and keep on going, show you what we do to check the valves and all that. All right, pistons in, ready to rock and roll. Ring end gap was good, all that was good. So, like always, I like to check the valves on the bench because it's a whole lot easier than having to reach up around all that stuff. So, get the cams back in, get the caps on. These aren't tight. Like, to really check these, we need to put bolts in, at least a couple to kind of tighten it down. I'm just going to show you guys really quick because it's been a long day. I've been doing a lot of talking to a lot of customers, and I don't really have that much time. So, I'm going to do it. I'm going to actually tighten these things down and do it later. But I'm just going to show you guys real quickly what we do. So these are the intakes, because that's the intake. So we're looking for 4 to 6 thousandths over here. So that's a 4, goes both sides. And then the exhaust, we want 6 to 8. So we'll look at 6 on the minimum side. There we go. So that's good. Now, like I said, I do need to tighten these down to make sure, because when you tighten them down, sometimes they can actually take up a little more of that room and make sure. So, but it is a really good idea to just do this on the bench, get it all dialed in. That way you can take the cams back out, replace shims, do whatever, do all your math, everything here. Then you just take it over, put it on, bolt it down, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up, put the head on, torque it down, and hopefully get it really close to running tonight. Probably not, though. Probably gonna have to come in early in the morning, and then we're gonna do the shock in the morning also. So yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling here. So I know that in a lot of my videos I don't stress the importance of torquing things to spec. That's because I honestly believe that most things don't need to be torqued to spec. But the cylinder head on a 4-stroke is one of those things that absolutely does. It has a lot to do with the fact that there's a lot going on up here. So you got cams spinning like this in these journals. Those surfaces need to be nice and straight and flat. If you torque this thing, it can a little bit out of whack. And if you do that, then you could also have a head gasket leak, but more importantly, you get a cam that's riding in a journal that's not actually in line like it's supposed to be, and that will probably not cause any problems right away, but it'll eventually wear the bike out prematurely. So you also want to do it in a crisscross pattern as you go. And no, you definitely don't need a digital torque wrench like this, but I can tell you that it's really, really nice because it just makes the job way easier. Also, a lot of times the clicky style ones need to be calibrated, and a lot of guys don't do that. So the digital one is just super, super nice. So that thing is all nice and tight, ready to go. The valves are in spec. So now we're gonna time this thing, and I'll show you guys how we do that, how we ensure that the timing is correct. KTM has kind of a neat thing, honestly, for timing. I used to think it was annoying and unnecessary, but so for KTMs, to lock them in at top dead center, which no, you don't have to have it locked in for top dead center. I've mentioned that before for checking valves, but to time the cams, you really need the bike at top dead center. Otherwise, you're just guessing. So on the side, you got this little bolt hole right over here, and it's always an Allen, and it's always got this big, thick copper washer on it. So there's a, hard to see in there. You're looking right through there. You're looking right at the crankshaft, the web of the crankshaft. So what we're gonna do is we should be pretty close to top dead center right now, because I kind of got it pretty close. And we're gonna look, there's a V notch there. It's coming. I know you guys can't see it, but I don't know. Let me see if I can illuminate the situation here. So I have no idea if you can see in there. Yeah, I don't think you can see it on the camera, but there's a V notch in that, and that V notch is made to fit that bolt right there. So you take the washer off, And now that bolt goes in further, and it'll lock this thing in top dead center, which is really handy for timing it. You don't have to worry about like it rotating just a little bit or whatever, because whatever, you know that it's going to stay right in place. So it's actually kind of nice. And no, you can't mess it up. Like if you accidentally leave it in there and try to start it, it just won't move. So it doesn't hurt anything. You might not feel like the brightest bulb in the box when it just goes, but at least it won't break anything. So, all right. So now we're at top dead center. Let's get the cams, put them in here, and show you how to time those things. All right, guys. So we got the cams in here. I just wanted to talk about how you time these cams to the crank and the piston. So piston's at top dead center because we set that bolt. You know that's a fact. And then actually, if you look at these two marks, they're off a little bit because the cam chain's not tensioned all the way. But there we go. So these two marks need to be facing each other like that for this to be timed correctly. Now, if you look, the cam lobes are all weird. This one's pointing in, that one's pointing in, but they are not pointing down or anything on the valves, so we know they're at top dead center compression. So we should be good. We're gonna put that cam chain tensioner in there, show you how we do that, and then we're gonna roll the motor over and make sure everything's good before we button everything up. These bolts are super important to get right on the torque because they're even more sensitive than like a Yamaha or a Cowie or whatever, because there are no bearings up here, which honestly, KTM, I don't love that. I really don't like that. Not because it makes it this harder to do or anything like that. It's just because I feel like there's too much that can go wrong. Like a little bit of dirt in the oil, a little bit low oil, you're just wiping out the whole head. Now I know on Yamahas and things like that, there's no bearings on these back ones, but there's bearings on the load bearing part of it where the chain is. And so, I don't know, I don't love it, but we're gonna tighten these down by hand for now, then I'll show you, we torque them down to 7 foot-pounds. All right, we got new batteries in the torque wrench. Yes, this is a different torque wrench. This is a 1/4-inch drive, which is really nice for this little stuff. Definitely not necessary, but awfully handy. So, really, the hard part's done. But now we're gonna put a cam chain tensioner in it, and this is the stock cam chain tensioner. It's a hydraulically operated rig. Honestly, they suck. Mainly they suck because they depend completely on oil pressure, and if your oil gets a little thin or a little bit hot, a little bit old, it can lose pressure and lose cam chain tension, and then cause the thing to skip, break lots of stuff. So I don't like them. I like, where is it? I like these guys by DIRTBIKES. Now this customer actually brought me this one because he's also smart and wants me to put it in. They're cool because there's a spring that operates them and a cam inside here that won't let it come back. It won't let the thing fall backwards as it goes out. So it's really cool. It's a way better deal. It's $100, but honestly it could save you a massive amount of money and headache. So I'm gonna get this out of the package. I'll show you guys how we install that thing. DIRTBIKE tensioner, you want it collapsed all the way. It kind of depends. Sometimes there's a way to, anyway, of course it won't do this on camera. It'll actually stick up because of the cam that's in there, and it's all based on how it's oriented. Anyway, whatever. Just make sure it's collapsed when you put it in. So you're gonna slide that thing in. There we go. Then take the O-ring that came off the other one, and that's going to go in next. Then we take the big part. Now we've taken this out, the little plug on the end out. I'm going to slide that in. We're going to tighten that up. And by the way, the hose that goes from here to here, you don't have to take that off to do a top end, but it is so much easier to get that out of the way so you can mess with this cam chain tensioner. So we go. Now comes part of the key to this. Spring. Plug. And this is going to be hard to do one-handed, but I'll see if I can make it happen. I don't have my headgear today. Forgot it, but got that all tightened up. Cam chain, good tension on it. It'll stay like that. That's a good thing. So, really, this thing's ready to go. So we just gotta slide this tube back in. And you want to make sure there's O-rings that this thing goes through. And I had an experience not long ago with one that came out, and it caused, I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but it did cause problems. It was leaking oil. It was not awesome. So you want to make sure you get that in easy. Make sure it goes past the O-rings, not knock them out of their place. So that's good now. Now we just got to put the valve cover back on. New spark plug in it. Motor mounts all back in place. Then we're going to rebuild this shock. That's going to happen tomorrow morning. So I'm going to do a little bit more. I'll hit you guys with the outro here in just a second. All right, guys. So got everything back in. Cam chain is where it's supposed to be. Now, I always like to roll the motor over nice and slow by hand. Make sure everything's timed right. Everything's going to move well. And we're not going to have any problems. So it's just one last check on the work to make sure it's all good. I like it. So now we can button up, get ready to go. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's time to rock and roll. I'm going to put the cover back on this thing and then finish it tomorrow morning. We'll do the shock tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that schlag. We'll be rebuilding another KTM shock, Explorer. Actually, excuse me, it's not the Explorer. Anyway, they're normal linkage shocks, so I've got done that a bunch, so I'll put a card right up here for that. I'll also put another card in tomorrow's video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So does Zach, even though he's angry, he does appreciate it. He's giving the evil eye. You guys can't see it, but I can see it. He's so angry. Guys, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Please get out, spread the gospel with two wheels, and as always, you know what I'm going to say. You got to find some time to ride your dirt bikes.